Everything that we know about life in the United States for the last 234 years, that's all in the Constitution. Franklin said, we have a republic if you can keep it. Well, the only reason we've been able to keep it is because of the Constitution. This November, Sotheby's is selling the first printing of the Constitution of the United States.
In November 2021, a bunch of crypto enthusiasts created Constitution DAO to make a bid on a rare original printing of the United States Constitution. It went viral and set off a frenzy of memes and pledges. The money came in so fast that one observer called it a financial flash mob. Within 24 hours, the group raised $4.5 million worth of Ethereum.
This is the craziest thing I've ever been involved in crypto. We are literally buying this. This is the Constitution of the United States of America. It's on auction from Sotheby's, and we are buying it.
A rare piece of American history is headed for the auction block. Sotheby's auctioning off a copy of the U.S. Constitution on Thursday, and a group of crypto investors won in. Why in the world do a bunch of crypto investors want to get together and own the Constitution?
Because it's a document that represents, I think, a lot of the same things that the Web3 ethos shares with the United States, which is a belief in democracy, a belief in shared ownership, a belief in governance, kind of and by and for the people.
This was printed probably in an edition of 500 copies. Only 13 are known to survive, and this is one of 2 that is privately owned.
The copy belonged to the widow of a New York real estate developer who bought it for $165,000 in 1988. Sotheby's estimated that the document would sell for somewhere between $15 and $20 million. The idea for the DAO started on November 11th, with the auction only 7 days ahead. They had to do the impossible, crowdfund more than $20 million in a week.
I mean, the objective was clear. We're going to enter the auction to purchase the Constitution. And after that, we just began mobilizing and operationalizing right away. From that kickoff call at 8 p.m. on November 11th, we had less than 7 days, less than 1 week until the November 18th auction. And kind of as from like a marketing stunt perspective, you know that you have to reach this certain type of virality coefficient on an idea that's just radical and crazy enough that someone wants to share it with their friends. They want to push it on to the next person. And I think that we knew that this was also a headline that was worthy of someone saying, what the heck do you mean you're going to buy the Constitution? I didn't know it was for sale. And, I didn't know that you could just go buy it. And also, for anyone who's not in the crypto world, what do you mean you're going to buy it with a bunch of crypto money from the internet? It's kind of how the general public was perceiving it.
A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization on a blockchain. It's governed by a code-based contract, with decisions made by the votes of its members. Member voting power is typically proportional to the amount of money each member contributes. The DAO grew to roughly 30 volunteer core contributors, who include entrepreneurs, investors, a purple-haired developer, and at least 2 teenagers. They were figuring out many of the details as they went. After a flurry of tweets, crypto Twitter was raging how it was about to buy the US Constitution. The popular hashtag "We're all gonna make it" slowly turned into "We're all gonna buy the Constitution." Within a few days, the total amount raised had ballooned to $1.6 million.
While you're chasing the next Ponzi scheme, all my homies and I are buying the U.S. Constitution. $20 million. Real money.
And I kind of figured that even if we got the traction and attention, and even if we raised the capital and got it raised into a smart contract, there's still this overhanging concern of, is Sotheby's going to get comfortable with a decentralized autonomous organization purchasing the Constitution of the United States? This was a huge roller coaster. And on some days, it felt like we're on top of the world. And of course, this was going to go through. And you had just those moments of pure bliss and excitement of, hey, we're going to make it. And I mean, the community was great at fostering that type of excitement and tension.
Soon the group had blown past its $20 million goal and set a new cap at $30 million. The bar was raised and eventually over $20 million was collected within the next few days, taking the total up to $40 million. This amount reached its peak at an astonishing $47 million. 47 million crowdfunded in a week. It broke records for the largest crowdfund for a physical object and most money crowdfunded in 72 hours. The deal was done and Constitution DAO was ready to make history.
Let's buy the Constitution so it doesn't go to some rich asshole. those founding fathers feared democracy. They feared the tyranny of the crowd.
The big day was November 18th. The auction was live-streamed by Sotheby's. The social engagement at this event was at a level that marketers can only dream about. The auction itself came down to 2 bidders. Back and forth they went, with each bid increasing things by millions of dollars. For viewers, it was unclear which one of the bidders represented the DAO, which caused confusion.
And now, let's begin the auction. Lot 1787, the Constitution of the United States of America. We'll start the bidding here at $10 million, at 10 million, 11 million, 12 million. At 13 million, now 14 million. The bid's here with me at $14 million. At 14 million, $30 million with Brooke Lampley. $30 million now is bid with Brooke. By far record for any document ever sold. It's with David Schrader at $36 million. Brooke, should we try 37? At 36 million then. The rest of you are welcome to jump in, but right now it's with David at $36 million. Brooke, should we try 39? You can make it even 42 if you wanted to. It's with David Schrader then at $38 million. Looks like that might have done it, David. It's your bid at $38 million. Brooke, the hammer's up. It's the last chance. $39 million if you'd like it, but if not, it's going to David Schrader at $38 million. Fair warning, Brooke, 39. At $39 million. Richard, shall we jump in at 40? At $39 million is Brooke's bid then. David, it's against you. It's with Brooke Lampley at $39 million. $40 million. With David Schrader now. It's bid at $40 million. At $40 million. Brooke? So we're still thinking about it, but maybe that might have done it. David, the bid is yours at $40 million. It is not yours, Brooke. We can bring the hammer up again. Increase the drama one more time. At $40 million, David, the bid is yours, $41 million. With Brooke at $41 million. Viewed around the country at 41? No? Are we sure? At $41 million, Brooke, looks like congratulations are in order to your bidder. David, you're out. Anyone else is welcome to jump in, but Brooke Lampley, the bid is yours for the United States Constitution at $41 million. Sold, $41 million, paddle 411. Congratulations.
CoinDesk just confirmed it. So there you go. The internet has won, which leads us to a whole nother news story, which I have to do. So I'll let me just get my show notes here. So I'm going to record this for tomorrow. And there's the CoinDesk story we can pull up on the screen if you want. It's in the chat room. But the note is there. The internet has won a copy of the Constitution. And I don't know who takes the custody of a $41 million irreplaceable 1 of 13 copy of the Constitution.
This newscast incorrectly reported that Constitution DAO had won. They didn't. After it became clear they didn't win, the group explained they stopped bidding because proper care and maintenance of the Constitution requires a reserve that's needed to ensure, store, and transport the document. And we calculated the absolute max we could go to, and the opposing bidder passed that max.
It was none other than Ken Griffin, who is the founder of Citadel. So mystery solved. It is Ken Griffin who won this first edition copy of the U.S. Constitution, paying $43 million for it.
Leslie, I have a more important question for you. Do we know which of his $100 million properties this will go in? Will the New York apartment, the Palm Beach mansion, the Chicago penthouse?
Public display.
Where?
In Arkansas.
I think he just wanted to outbid the crypto
Prove a
crowd.
point.
You know, as Mike Santoli says, trolling the trolls and aping the apes, right?
Who knows?
Ken Griffin of Citadel. Wall Street villain with a net worth of $26.7 billion.
So address that for us. Tell us about your philosophy about the combination of winning with integrity.
You know what? It's really simple. From our earliest days in life, we know that when we engage in a competition and we play fairly and we win, we walk away feeling the best we can possibly feel.
He knew the max bid from the opponent he was bidding against, he was ready to troll, and he walked away the winner. Not only was the DAO humiliated by this expensive troll move, what followed was chaos and confusion.
There's just a moment of just pure gut-wrenching horror when you realize, man, we've worked every possible angle and it's not enough, and you end up losing the auction. And there was a huge, massive sense of disappointment and to a certain degree disbelief. Sure. The original purchase price estimated by Sotheby's was set between $15 and $20 million. Wow. And we ended up raising just shy of 12,000 ETH, which I think around on the day of was valued somewhere around 47 million. Now, we couldn't bid the full 47 million, which caused a little bit of confusion. Our maximum bid that we backed into was about 40 million because there's auction house fees, and we also needed to reserve some money. And very last minute too, there had been a slight change in plans. Rather than being able to just bid with ETH sitting in a wallet and then convert upon the successful purchase of the Constitution, because there'd been so much volatility in the market, I think the price of Ether declined something around 15% since the day we launched the project. And so in a lot of ways, the Ether was actually really working against us. And so Sotheby's had gotten a little bit nervous, and the day of the auction said, hey, no, you're actually going to have to convert to fiat prior to the auction, which causes some challenges.
5 days after the auction ended, Constitution DAO was in a state of turmoil.
We didn't allocate any of the tokens to ourselves. In that sense, our project was very unique. The vast majority of projects, right? You allocate 20, 25, 10, some percentage of the token allocation to the core team to fund them and motivate them. We said, hey, this is a 1-week project that's going to be by the people, for the people, and this isn't some type of money grab. That 1-week timeline, it's okay to ask people for the time and attention and energy, but afterwards you say, okay, we're now going to pivot and do the next thing. You got people who just said, hey, I paused my work for the last week and dropped everything. I can't keep doing this because I got to get back to work, and you guys don't have an ability to compensate me. And so you had a lot of people who immediately off the bat just started, just kind of disappeared, which I don't blame them. I really don't. And we wanted people to be able to receive their money back very quickly. And the longer that time is delayed between the auction, people start just getting nervous and uncomfortable. And they go, oh, am I going to get my money back? I'm going to get rug pulled. Is something going to happen to this? We're on now day 7 of pure exhaustion, sleep deprivation.
After several lively discussions, the organization's core contributors announced on the 24th that they were shutting down and would refund contributions automatically. The People token, which was given to contributors at a rate of 1 ETH to 1 million people, would be of no actual use. If they had one, those People tokens would be used for voting on what would happen to the Constitution. The community descended into chaos as people were realizing that roughly half of the donors will have the majority of their investment wiped out by fees. The fees on the Ethereum network were so huge that smaller contributors wouldn't be getting anything back, as the fees would eat up their entire contribution.
This is something that I actually do feel bad about, that if you were a small contributor, say donating just $200 or so, your money got eaten up by gas fees. And that's one of the unfortunate aspects of the Ethereum network having just such high demand, and it being such a popular space, and it being so competitive to get block space, is that you're going to have really high gas fees.
Many people were, wrongfully, looking at the DAO as an investment, thinking that they were buying a fraction of the copy itself, expecting to be able to flip either a tiny ownership stake in the Constitution or People tokens for a profit. This did start happening, with some investors selling the tokens on decentralized exchanges. On Saturday, the admins announced that it would be moving away from the People token into a new, yet-to-be-created token called We the People, which would govern whatever future the project had. The People token, meanwhile, would go by the wayside because the Constitution wasn't acquired. These announcements had the effect of cratering the price of the now worthless token, according to hundreds of angry messages on the Discord, as well as sowing confusion and anger within the community. Many people felt like the team was moving away from the People tokens for reasons that weren't well explained. This led to arguments about what the purpose of the project was, what the intentions of the founders were, and whether they were being scammed or not. The price of the People token has continued to fluctuate. It went from being a hype DAO token to totally useless to potentially valuable again within a 24-hour period.
We're trying to communicate really transparently. We said, hey, here's a refund mechanism. Here's how we're getting your money back. And in retrospect, we rushed that. We didn't think it through quickly enough. And we're going to allow you to kind of opt in to the next phase of what we're doing, or take your money back. And so we were trying to do it in a very efficient fashion. After having additional conversations, we decided that this wasn't the best mechanism to do it. But because we had messaged slightly different before, we put ourselves in a bizarre situation where you had some people who were trying to get double refunds, where they had gone out onto secondary markets, sold their tokens, and then, felt like, we were somehow, trying to be bad actors in this. And obviously that wasn't the case. And obviously we were, just trying to be as clear and concise about this as possible. The whole minority of people were saying, this and that. And there was this, brief group that got created to say like, oh no, we're going to try to sue you guys. And so not only are people sleep deprived, but now they aren't compensated for this. They've lost the auction, and now people are threatening them. And so you had this kind of group mentality and this just pure exhaustion going into kind of towards the Thanksgiving holidays of people just saying, oh my God, is this, still worth it? The team had kind of made a tough choice, and two of the folks on our team had said, yeah, it might make the most sense for us to go ahead and just say there's only one option, which is to take your money back. We accidentally created a $1 billion+ meme token that started taking off because people were just saying, oh, we just want the token. So at this point, there's still millions of dollars of Ether locked in this contract, and a multi-$100 million people token circulating that's probably going to be a perpetual artifact of the ecosystem unless the price of the people token dips below the reserve price of Ethereum. And it's probably just going to circulate out there indefinitely. We feel very good about the fact that our participation likely drove up the price fairly substantially, based off of most professionals' estimates. And so we helped raise an awful lot more money for a very great charitable cause. So I was like, wow, I can feel pretty great about this. Two, Ken Griffin, the CEO of Citadel, who ended up winning the auction, who I kind of first got more famous on the internet back in February, March with GameStop and that entire ordeal. So it's kind of coming full circle. There's a lot of crossover of people on the internet who saw him both then and both now. And so he said, that he was interested in putting it in a museum in Arkansas. One of the people from Ken's network had reached out to us and basically said, hey, we'd like to talk. The initial proposal was something along the lines of, hey, would you be interested in the digital ownership? I presume to mean, to allow us to create, an NFT of it of some sort. And then there was, we had ideated briefly about, hey, would there be some opportunity to actually allow, him to create a short list of institutions, and maybe potentially including Federal Hall, that we could actually, give the document to and allow token holders to still vote and have a sense of governance of it still, nonetheless. The problem with this at this point was we now said, hey, we're winding down our project and your tokens no longer have value. So if you want to redeem it, go ahead and redeem it. So now if we'd gone back to people and said, actually, sure, you now have a utility behind this token, I think there would have been massive backlash. And there would have been a lot of people who said, oh my God, you told us that this token doesn't have any value, doesn't have any purpose. What are we supposed to be doing with it? And additionally, admittedly, there's a lot of core team members who couldn't get comfortable with the idea of working with Ken Griffin. Some folks had some negative sentiment towards him and said that they wouldn't want the idea of collaborating and working with him and wouldn't want to do that. And so that definitely played a role in it as well.
What was meant to be a showcase of what cryptocurrencies, decentralization, governance tokens, and Web3 are all about, turned into chaos. The community itself couldn't even vote with its governance tokens on the future of those governance tokens, a decision ironically made by a centralized core team. Maybe that's what Ken Griffin tried to point out. Or he was simply trolling.
Let's show the folks at Sotheby's what we can do with these